Hello, my garden friends. I wanted to discuss a subject that seems to be at the heart of your concerns for many people, and that is, gee, I got Amaryllis for Christmas, or I have Amaryllis for Valentine's Day, or Easter, or Mother's Day, or whenever you've gotten it, and somebody gave it to you as a pot and it either as a bulb with a pot and dirt and do it yourself, or you it came as a pot and it was already blooming. Anyway, long story short, what do you do with it once it gives its big show and then all of a sudden it looks like this? Okay, and you're looking at it. Well, let me just show you a better one. Okay, these have all died back naturally, and it had a second stalk on it. This was actually the first stalk, and so those died, and this is the second stalk. So what are we going to do with it now that it's, it looks dead, and you don't want to keep that. So I'm going to show you on one that's not in the ground. What I will do is I'll get down there and I will take it down to as close to the base as I can. But I want to show you so that you can actually see it. So here's one, and you can see that it's given its all, and it's down here, and it has these beautiful leaves. Well, you want to hang on to that because those beautiful leaves are going to take in the sun, and they're going to create photosynthesis, and they're going to feed that bulb, as is this one that came up and had a beautiful double stalk. So now I have to get in there, and I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to do it as close as I should, but look at the water coming out. Can you see that? This whole thing is filled with water, and whoa, look at that. That just overflowed. So I will go ahead and let that dry out, and I'll take this one down the same, and those two will eventually, that'll get brown, and I'll take off even closer, so that all I have left is this lovely green flowering plant. And so I'll have two of those. This one is so tiny. Look at the leaves. So you certainly want to leave that on there so that it will create a stronger plant. You can see this one has, because they're in the ground, the ones in the ground seem to give me many more leaves, and they look almost like a really tropical plant all by themselves. So it's and then I just treat them just like a plant outside, any other plant. They get watered, they get irrigated 4 times a week in our hot climate, sometimes 3 times a week. But what I wanted to show you was, now this leaf, look at the length on this. I mean, I could wrap it around the world. So what I'm going to do, because this is really not providing much here, is I'm going to just clip this off. But you can see this one wants to send out another bloom, so we're going to let that happen. And here's another one that's just about ready to bloom, but you can see, look at how dry these two look. They've kind of been sitting off by themselves. But if I go down, if I just take that off, you can see it's still moist underneath. But I've heard people say, oh, you shouldn't water from the top, and make sure you don't get it too wet. And I think we're making this too much of a mystery, and it frightens people into thinking that they wouldn't be good at growing amaryllis, and it really is not a mystery. It's really not that hard. And I feel bad for the people who throw away the bulbs afterwards. Now, granted, this is kind of how I water. I'm hoping I'm able to pull back far enough that you can see that I'm really just watering around it. And that's about it. And I'll let that go for a couple days. Or if they're outside, they're going to get irrigated. My plants get rained on during the summer almost every day. I'm in Florida, so we get those afternoon rains. We won't here in April. It's been hard. But I also wanted to show you guys, these are, you could probably clean these up a little bit, but I think the beauty is this, and I just love those leaves. And but I call this the kindergarten group because they all came from one of these big plants. Let me go over and show you one. Here's one that has a little baby off the side. And I'll probably let this one grow because it really, you can see it's got some area that it can do that. And I'll let that go until probably in the fall, and just treat it just like an outside plant. And so, but anyway, back here, these all came off of bigger bulbs. I've told you this story, I don't want to bore you, but in 2008 I bought 5 bulbs that were about, barely this size, and they came with a pot. The mall had opened quite late, a few months later than it was supposed to, and so they, instead of $10, it was the end of January the following year, and they were selling them for 90 cents. So I bought 5. I wish I'd bought every one that they had, but I bought 5, and those 5 have multiplied. You can see I had them in the front yard. I had them over there underneath the ligustrum blooming. I had them on over up there on the side of the house driveway. I have some. I have them in the backyard, and so I will keep multiplying them. Here I have, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it probably in a few years they will be blooming. But these were all just ones that, they looked, I would guess most people would have just thrown them away and said, those don't look good. But I let them dry out, and then even though they looked dried out and dead, then I went ahead, there was nothing here, and I went ahead and I cut back a little bit. I didn't see anything. I cut back a little bit, and I could see that it was green inside, and then I give them like a little pinch. The base is still very supple, and so I gave it a little pinch, and I looked inside, and sure enough I saw a little tongue coming out. And once I see that little tongue, then I know that that's still a viable bulb. So I'm just keeping them together. There's no real reason other than I don't want to have to separately pot everything. I suppose I could if I had like little pots and I wanted, but this keeps it controlled. They have a chance to grow. Like I said, these leaves are going to be out in the sun, and they're going to feed the bulb through photosynthesis. They're going to take it and give those sugar energies, and if I'm fertilizing everything else with either a fertilizer, or in my case I raise worms, so I will do worm castings and worm leachate, or worm castings and just some rainwater, and I'll water them with a little bit of that, and I think it provides something like I couldn't give you the actual analysis. I think it's something like a 1-2-1 or a 1-1-2 if you were looking at the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and so, they don't really get much in the way of fertilizer. They're kind of on their own. And like I said, I've been doing this since 2008. They've been in every part of my yard. I put some out here, and they got so big that I almost cracked bulbs trying to get them out between the elm roots. And they had just really wrapped themselves out. They'd become monsters, and I thought I need to tame this situation. But anyway, I hope that helps you. I'm trying to think of what else I could tell you. They will grow, for me, I'll leave them and they'll grow all summer long, and they'll look great like this, and you can see these leaves coming up. And then all of a sudden these leaves will get like this one is almost getting too long. But these leaves will get so long that they just start to fall over. And once they start to fall over, let me show you some in the ground. Well, like this one. Oh, look at this. This is incredible. This one bloom is one bulb is having a third stalk coming up. I can't believe it. I've never seen that one. This one has had 10 blooms come out of it so far. So, but you can see those leaves, and through month after month after month, if we have a hurricane, if anything else happens, you can see how big those leaves are already getting. Incredible. But what happens in the fall is they will get so long and large that they'll start to turn yellow, and then they'll fall over, and they'll just, once they've turned yellow and they're falling over, then they're not good anymore. So I will go ahead and I'll snip them back. I'll leave a little bit, but I'll snip them back, and I'll either pull them out of their pots, or some of the ones that I leave in the ground, I just leave them in the ground. That's fine. And some of them I take out of pots because I'd like to have my pots back to use for something else. And I will let them dry out, brush all the dirt off. I keep them just actually like in boxes or in an open plastic container so that they stay dry. Some years I've tried using cat litter so that it's clay absorbent, and that worked so. No better than just me leaving them open. I guess it depends on where you have to keep them. If you have a really moist area or you're afraid it's going to get wet, then use something to keep them dry. If you have my ability that you can just put them in, it's almost like you're just giving them a rest. You're giving them a fall sleep, and then come, I think this year I did them the end of January, first part of February. You'd have to look back through my YouTube videos, because I know I did ones on how I took them apart and then how I replanted them. And so all of these have been planted within 8 weeks, 9 weeks, maybe 10 weeks tops. And they've been blooming. For, 4 weeks. I've had blooms out, and I've had neighbors coming by going, "Oh my God, they're gorgeous." So that's what feeds my soul. So anyway, I won't make this any longer for you. I just thought if there was anybody who wanted to know what to do with these pretty ladies after they've bloomed, that's it. I let them do their thing, and as pretty as they are, I will have these into May. Here's one that's just coming up, and but I'll have them until May, or hopefully last year I think I had a couple in June, so those were really hardy. They don't seem to take well to the really hot sun. So anyway, that's it from my house to yours, and I hope you enjoyed this. Oh, here's a red one. Let me just show you that one real quick. Most of them are apple blossom, but this one, I think the name of it was something like red, or Holy Cat's Red, something like that. But, and I've got another couple coming out over here. So I've just got them everywhere. And that's great. Sometimes I just stick things where I think they will be appreciated. So anyway, that's it. Talk to you all soon. Thanks for coming to visit. Thanks for subscribing. I love having you. I love doing this. And garden what you've got, and I will talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.